Good evening and welcome to the October 11, 2017 meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. Before we get into the agenda, I'd just like to ask everybody to please silence whatever devices they might have with them. And also, anyone who would like to speak from the public is very welcome to do so, but they have to...
Moria, I wasn't able to, I just saw it here.
Excuse me. But they have to come up and speak into the microphone. That's for the benefit mainly, or entirely, for the people watching on TV. So, all right, first order of business is to vote the minutes of October 4th. All right, did anybody?
I looked them over, they seem to be in order. I'll make a motion to approve them.
Second.
All right, I have a couple small things, and when I get my hands on them, I will pass them in to Susan. But there's nothing of substance. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? So moved. All right, request for a continuance under determination of applicability. Sherry and Charles Way, 12 Clarabelle Road, East Falmouth, Massachusetts, for permission to vista prune, trim trees near the house, and remove trees. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman.
I can wait.
The applicant is requesting a continuance until November 1st.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? So moved. Request for continuance under a notice of intent. Olga Barisky, 2 Wigwam Road, West Falmouth, Massachusetts, for permission to construct a wading pool and pool patio, install a dry well, and the associated excavating, grading, and landscaping.
Yes, Madam Chairman. The applicant is requesting a continuance until November 15th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I had a
Unanimous.
question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Courtney, go ahead.
And what was the reason?
I had a meeting with them last week? Early last week or late the week before, and they were contemplating some design changes to the pool and mitigation.
Okay.
We haven't opened this.
Yeah, you haven't opened,
Right.
Oh, okay.
So,
it's your second continuance, you haven't opened it.
but I
Okay.
mean, that doesn't matter, we haven't opened
Yeah.
it.
So, yes.
Okay, moving on to request, I'm sorry, I guess we didn't complete the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved. Request for determination of applicability. Is anyone here for one of these? Okay, then I will, oh, you are, okay. Just so you know, for this kind of an application, a negative determination is what the applicant would like to hear, because it means, no, they don't have to go on to the more demanding type of application. All right, Richard and Nancy Provenzano, 21 Hawthorne Court, Falmouth, Massachusetts, for permission to raise RAZE and rebuild a single-family house.
Yes, Madam Chairman, we're recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Any comment? Peter?
Yes. Is the rebuilding on the single house the same footprint? And is it closer or further away from the resource areas?
It is, it is further away from Hawthorne Ave, it looks like.
Is it just in the flood zone?
It's just in the flood zone. It looks like it's slightly shifting it. I can bring the plan over.
Well-
It's over 100 feet from any other resource areas.
And it's the same footprint area?
Give me 1 second.
Yes.
Even if it were a larger footprint, it's not in the buffer to any resource, and so it wouldn't have
Madam
any
Chair.
mitigation planning.
Madam Chairman, it's Tom Bunker's plan. He can probably give me just a quick,
It's my
sorry,
fault.
Peter.
Okay,
It's actually the same footprint because it's already, zoning allows 20%, and this is already over 20%, so we can't get any bigger than that. So because
Okay.
of zoning, it's not enlarging in size.
okay,
It's
thank
just
you.
on a different,
Thanks.
different, yeah, different shape.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, anyone else have a comment or question? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved. Madeline Road Nominee Trust, care of William Cuccinello, trustee, 66 Madeline Road, East Falmouth, Massachusetts, for permission to construct a concrete foundation for the existing three-bedroom, single-family house and to install a new Title V sewage disposal system.
Yes, Madam Chairman, we are recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions from the board? Peter?
The same question, is it the same footprint, and is it closer or further away from the resource
I
area?
think it's in the same footprint, and it doesn't look like it's any closer to the resource area. To construct concrete for the existing single-family home. We go here.
Is it just the foundation?
Yeah, it's just for the foundation. There is no home, so I don't know why it says existing single-family home. So this is a new lot, it's gonna be new construction on a vacant lot. Peter? That's the one I looked at with Mark. It is slightly landward of a coastal bank that's on the side of the road, but the coastal bank is only because Madeline Road is right here. So the resource area is over here, there's house lots, Madeline Road. This is on the interior of Madeline Road, and the only reason there's a coastal bank is because there's a slight incline from the road into the lot.
Okay,
Pretty sure this is the one Mark and I, yeah, it's the one Mark and I were looking at, and then they will be doing the foundation for that.
All right, anything else? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved. Christie Baxter, 8 Settlers Path, Falmouth, Massachusetts. Oh, I'm sorry. Lizolet Gandolfi, 28 Oak Grove Avenue, East Falmouth, Massachusetts, for permission to upgrade with a new Title V sewage disposal system.
Yes, Madam Chairman, we are recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Anything from the public? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved. Christie Baxter, 8 Settlers Path, Falmouth, Massachusetts, for permission to raise, RAZE, the building, raise and rebuild the existing two-bedroom house and install a new Title V sewage disposal system.
Yes, Madam Chairman, give me 1 second so I can anticipate Peter's question. We are recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed. Peter, it's a very similar sized structure to the existing house, and it does not appear that it's moving any closer.
okay, good.
So moved.
We have 2 motions.
Second.
Okay, thank you. All right, anything else from the board, from the public? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved. Sherry and Charles Way. Oh, excuse me, this has been continued to November 1st. All right. So, now we have a continued request for determination of applicability. Lynn Horsley, 54 Pheasant Lane, East Falmouth, Massachusetts, for permission to upgrade the existing septic system by installing a new Title V sewage disposal system.
Yes, Madam Chairman, we are recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not
So
confirmed.
moved.
Second.
Any discussion from the board, from the public? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved. All right, next we have requests for hearings under a notice of intent. First is Kathleen Kelly and Kevin Doucette, pardon?
Legalese.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to read something for the record. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision of the commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. Okay, so our first NOI, Kathleen Kelly and Kevin Doucette, 241 Lakeshore Drive, East Falmouth, Massachusetts, for permission to construct an addition, entry deck, install a dry well, native mitigation plantings, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen, did you?
I'll hold any comments until after Tom's presentation.
Okay, fine.
Oh, it doesn't have anything to do with that, no.
Good evening, Tom.
Good evening.
Again.
Thank you for inviting me here. I'm Tom Bunker of BSS Design. We prepared this plan for Kathleen Kelly and Coyne. Property at 241 Lakeshore Drive borders on Jenkins Pond, which is a freshwater pond in Zone 2 of a public water supply. Therefore, any bordering vegetated wetland there too has a 100-foot Zone A. And that I have here. So I have the pond. You can see it too. So I have the pond over on the right-hand side. The house, existing house here is a two-bedroom house, I believe. And the Zone A back here. So the Zone A covers most of the property, certainly all of the house. Determined that there is a freshwater wetland down here. The inland bank of the pond has been determined to be right across the upland edge of the sand. LEC made that determination. What they're proposing to do is add on here an addition that's 6 feet front to back, and the width of the house, which is like 20-some feet. It's a very small addition. It's not adding any rooms. It's to increase the size of one bedroom and the kitchen, or rather the bathroom and a bedroom expansion in the front. And this corner of it here is just a small entry deck. Part of that is above an existing stoop and a concrete block in this location. So part of this addition is over that existing coverage, a total of 105 square feet of increase in a Zone A, tripled 315 square feet of mitigation planting proposed, as colored in the green down there, which will be the native shrubs as required by the new regulations. So have a small addition on the uphill side of the house and mitigation on the downhill side of the house, adjacent to the resource area. And a dry well. Dry well with the roof runoff in that location. Take any questions?
Thank you. Jen?
No question.
Courtney?
No questions.
Maury?
I just had one question, Tom. It has a cesspool now, and will this addition make it difficult to put a Title V to meet all the setbacks? Okay.
No,
I just-
it's a, well, a new system would have to go closer to the road.
Right, okay, as long
to-
as it just didn't impede any future improvements to the cesspool. Thank
No,
you.
it shouldn't do that.
All right, thank you, that was all.
Betsy?
Nothing, thanks.
All right. Jamie?
I'm nothing.
Kevin?
The,
Excuse me, Kevin?
No, I had the same question about the cesspool.
Okay,
I think it's gonna be a problem.
you do. Peter?
The expansion, is that with a basement or just
No,
on
it's-
piers?
It's on piers, I believe. It's no basement involved.
Mark?
What's our position on rinse stations? This particular rinse station is fully enclosed, it has soap and shampoo in it, and it sits on top of the concrete, so any runoff runs right off the edge of the, whatever that back deck is. Is there, it doesn't look like there's any erosion, so it probably is not any issue, but I don't know if this board has a position on such a thing.
Well, we certainly accept plans with rinse stations.
Okay. No comments then.
Okay, thank you. Jen?
Well, if the rinse station is just sitting on a slab, Tom, you may want to talk to your clients about putting a drywall over there. Drywall, sorry.
That
Thinking of
is, yeah, underneath the deck, there's a whole
Yeah.
concrete patio under there. I mean, so it's on a slab, as you say.
And if they're showering out there, rinsing, whatever they're doing with shampoo, and and the water's just sheeting off, then that could be a problem. So please talk to your client about connecting that to a drywall. Unless that's a code issue somehow, Jamie. Is that a code issue to put it to a drywall?
I'm sorry.
Is the rinse station, is it a code issue to attach those to a drywall?
I'm not following.
Okay, I just didn't
Yeah,
know
I
if
hear
it
you.
was, so the rinse station,
Yep.
that Mark's concerned with that, the existing rinse station, is it an issue to connect it to a drywall to improve the, no? Okay.
It's not evident that there's any need to. There's no erosion that I could see on the edge of the patio.
Okay.
And they allow it.
Don't you make a little trench drain rather than dig for a whole dry well?
Yeah, possibly. Have them do something to,
I mean, I see that patio or slab is up off the ground, so I actually I didn't notice, which way the water,
okay.
if it just runs right out from under onto more of the patio, I'd have to look
Okay.
at that. So,
Might want to just have them watch that, because if it becomes a problem, And I want to go back to the septic that Maury and Kevin are concerned with. What are the setbacks needed to put a septic in there? I mean, would you get a variance from the Board of Health if you put that addition in and then have to come back and put a Title V system in there?
well, that right now is, at least to the structure, is about 23 feet. The setback is 20 feet to a foundation wall. If this is on posts, it actually is making it no different as far
No
as the Title
different,
V
okay.
setback. But if we did an upgrade to the septic system, you and Health would actually require that we move it away from the pond, because
Yes.
as you see, that's within 100 feet of the resource area, so it would be built closer to the road. if-
Okay.
if a sept- if-
Because
if
of
an
the
upgrade.
zone too and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm just following up, that's all.
I make a motion to close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Second.
Thank you, Tom.
Any comment from the public? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved. Next, we have William Solimine, 58 Cape Codder Road, Falmouth, Massachusetts, for permission to raise, RAZE, the existing dwelling and construct a single-family, three-bedroom house with an attached garage, covered patio with deck above, patio with stairs, install a new Title V sewage disposal system, utilities, retaining wall with rails, crushed stone driveway, drainage, leaching pits, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen, did you want to?
I'll save any comments
Okay.
until after Tom's presentation.
And thank you again for the record. My name is Tom Bunker, BSS Design. We prepared this plan for William Solimine, who bought the property from Phil Fine. We talked about some of the past history of the property last time I was here for a project on Cape Codder Road. This is a lot that fronts on the water, fronts on Buzzards Bay. There's an existing structure on the property. which is fort structure up here, there's an existing conditions plan, in fact, 14 feet back from the top of the coastal bank. On the site plan, sheet 2 or 3, the gray outline is shown on there. On Buzzards Bay, there's a velocity zone, VE elevation 25, that comes landward. The elevation of the ground there is 22 or so. Here, the coastal bank, the velocity zone comes in as far as this purple line here, and then the Falmouth V zone comes in another 25 feet. The existing house is up here. The existing house is halfway in the velocity zone, in the FEMA velocity zone, or a third of the way in the FEMA velocity zone as it is now. So what we're proposing to do is the house is being moved back. The structure, the enclosed part of the house is landward of the Falmouth velocity zone. There is part here that's considered structure that, as it notes on the side here, that's a covered, it's a patio with a deck above it. And so the patio is at grade, elevation 24. The deck above is at elevation 33, so there are posts holding it up. So there are, within the Falmouth velocity zone, there are no walls, breakaway or otherwise. There's these columns that will hold up the deck. The entire, as I said, the entire enclosed portion of the structure is landward of the Falmouth velocity zone and totally out of the FEMA velocity zone. There is a flood zone, the type of flood zone that's not encountered too often. It's an AO flood zone. On this side of the house anyway, is landward of the velocity zone, AO 2 feet. So that represents that FEMA believes that the water is going to come up and then the water is going to sheet downward, because in this case, the landward, the seaward part of the site is higher than the landward part of the site. So water is going to be sheeting landward 2 feet deep. So it's sort of an inclined flood zone. So that's 2 feet above the flood zone elevation is 2 feet above the ground, wherever it is. So let's say at this elevation 20, the flood zone is 22. And so this floor here is more than a foot higher than the highest point on this AO flood zone, which is here at about 20 and a half. The flood zone would be 22 and a half. A foot higher is 23 and a half. The finished floor is at 24 and a half. And then the garage slab down here is at elevation 13.8. And it's down here is a flood zone elevation 15. So the flood zone, the garage slab, and all of the basement is within flood zone. I believe the flood openings, the smart vents or other, within the foundation of the lower level. But the utilities can be up on a platform within that. In the location of the existing house, and that's taken down, the perk test showed that it's poor soil, down about 15 or 16 feet, or is it something like that. So what we've proposed, when you run of the mill dry wells, we have the full-size street-type catch basin, 1,000-gallon leaching pits, stacked one on top of the other, so they go down 12 feet down, so they'll get down into the sand layer. Since they're digging the hole that deep anyway, they will just stack another one on top of it, and then that is surrounded by 2 feet of stone all around, or by the time they get done, it'll probably be more than 2 feet of stone all around. So we have a deep leaching pit here for roof runoff, and then down down toward on the driveway, another one of these with a catch basin inlet, and the roof drain, some of the roof drains will go down into there. So right now, the driveway comes up in this location, and that's being changed because the architect has the house over here, or the garage over here, so Cape Codder Road will be extended a little bit further within the layout, and then up into the garage in that fashion, with just a minimal turnaround to get back out. The septic system over in this location, furthest possible from all of the resource areas. It's a convoluted, confusing lot there. We have, there's no increase in the number of bedrooms. It is an existing 3-bedroom and a proposed 3-bedroom. So this should be considered as an upgrade, not a new system, in that it's more than 50 feet, but it's not 100 feet from the coastal bank. There's the one resource area. So there's a 100-foot setback, the B zone from the coastal bank is all the way back to here, and there is no location where we can be 100 feet from every resource area, and particularly the coastal banks were well over 100 feet from the ocean, more than 200. I'm not sure that's shown in there, but more than 200 feet to Buzzards Bay. There is a right-of-way across here, so a limit of work cuts right up the property line with the right-of-way here, so there'll be no construction activity or other within this right-of-way, and it will remain open to the people who have the rights to go up there. And the limit of work will cut along here 10 feet away, and then over to make room for the septic system in this location. On the existing conditions plan, it shows the existing edge of the lawn, and there are two lobes, one in here and one down here, that have to be cleared for this limit of work. And all of the material, all the vegetation on this side is invasive, between burning bush, honeysuckle, what have you. So a lot of the usual characters. Down in this location, it's still non-native. Oh, there is one honey locust in that location. That's the only sizable tree over here. It has to be removed for this. That's not a native tree. There have a mitigation calculation, so actually a reduction of 514 square feet of coverage within this, partly because of the driveway that's in the A zone and pulling the house well back, and freeing up all this area that's up in the coastal bank, and the velocity zone is being freed of impervious surface. There are a couple of two or three cedar trees and cherry trees here, which I failed to put on the plan.
We noticed.
Good, I was just checking to see if you'd catch that. So, yeah, we'll have to get to talking about replacing trees in this edition. But that's basically the project, and I'll take your questions and comments.
Thank you. So Betsy gets the gold star on this one. Jen?
No comments right now, Madam Chairman.
Okay. Mark, you want to start?
No comments.
All right.
I have a,
Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have a question about the elevation going down around the septic system, the new Title V. Does it go down all the way around, and that's a depression, or what? For instance, I can see toward the house, it's a higher elevation, and up the street, it appears to be a higher elevation to the left, and on the right, it goes to a lower elevation. Is that a depression? Is this,
The lowest property around all of this goes down, and the lowest property actually is down on Cape Codder Road, and actually beyond that, on the lot across the street that we had here 3 or 4 weeks ago. This lawn area down in that location, so that's the lowest localized area there. So the septic system is not in a depression.
All set. Kevin, do you have any?
No, it doesn't seem to change the situation there. So it's, the guy across the street, he still has his problems.
He never had any problems.
It's the same guy.
Oh, it's the same guy?
That's convenient.
Yeah.
It is.
That's it?
Yes.
Okay, Jamie?
Maybe irrelevant, but I realize the existing driveway is already within the road layout, but can you actually propose the driveway within the road layout?
Yes, in this case being after our last discussion, and it was determined that it was actually a private road. And he said it's convenient, he owns the land on both sides of the road, so it's a private road. He owns the center line of the road on both ways, so and actually anybody who lives along, if they wanted to, I mean, it could be, the road could be built in that right of way. If somebody else wanted to anyway, if they needed to. But in this case, as a driveway to this house, he can do that as an abutter on a private road.
Thank you.
All right, Betsy?
Yes, so what more do you have to tell us about trees?
Whether you were going to tell me about trees, that'll have to be some replacements. But there's 2 cedar trees and a few others. We'll probably talk about six or so. I mean, there's a lot of vegetation there that's on the left-hand side, the left-hand side.
As you're looking at the water.
As you're looking at the water, the
That you say it's
non-native.
junk vegetation, but it's,
Junk, yeah.
it's junk vegetation, but it serves a role. So
Yes.
what are you proposing to us? Even hydrangeas, for all the people who don't like them in this room, serve a function. Birds hide in them when they want to get to the feeders.
But we can't plant them.
Under them.
Cat sleeps under them?
Yes.
You know how I feel about hydrangeas. Even though I have them.
And they take up nutrients, and they take up excess water.
And they
That
slow
might
erosion.
leak onto the other land that he owns.
And they slow erosion.
I'd have to look at that and see how much, if it makes a difference between what's in the A zone and what's in the B zone. And certainly trees, some of these cedars, as I said, and we replace in kind and quantity. And we can put some amount of shrubs up toward the water, but not right along the top of the bank. Just saying, yeah.
I'm asking you
Yeah.
what it's your
Well, I
project.
hadn't, yes, I know.
I'm just listening.
and I hadn't come up with
You're
the
not convincing her, Tim.
I hadn't come up with the proposal yet for that, obviously.
Obviously.
Well, I'll let you think about it while we continue.
Yeah.
All right, Maury?
In the findings, there will be that this is a removed house, so there'll be no future armoring of the bank. So, just to know that it will be in the,
If that's the regulations,
I know it is, but people like to
yeah.
try to manipulate them. So as long as the applicant is clear that there's never going to be armoring there, okay? And I know it's in our regs, just making it clear. Is that deck on the coastal bank, was that permitted, Jen? It's quite large. I mean, I know we always allow stairs to go down. I just want
I
to,
don't know.
Oh, you
I-
mean this one?
yeah,
Yeah, it is big.
it's big, and usually we don't allow decks, and it doesn't look like one of our permitted kind of decks. So I thought I'd just check and make sure that was permitted.
I will check and have an answer for you when you
Okay,
deliberate.
and the height of the wall? And is it a concrete wall?
That's a concrete wall, and that's, as last time, it's like 5 feet, or four and some feet,
And we don't have any diagram of that, right?
correct.
I didn't see it, so I think we need that. Because it also has a railing on it, so it's pretty substantial within the, unless everybody else is fine with a 5-foot concrete wall with footings within 10 feet of the coastal bank. And that's all I had.
Where's the wall? Where's the wall?
Right where all the grading is, right, Maureen?
Yes, it's where all the grading is.
Great, thanks, Maury. Courtney?
Your client's proposing alterations to Cape Codder Road. Are you?
Building a driveway,
Huh?
it's building a driveway within it, yes.
Yeah. And it looks to me like the drainage is gonna go right off onto that turnaround. What are you doing there?
Some of that will go down there into, onto my client's
No, it
other
does not.
land.
This doesn't show on the plan. But I mean, I guess that's fine that you want to make alterations on Cape Codder Road. I don't have an issue with it, but, I would think there should be somebody's giving permission to do this.
It's a private road.
Huh?
It's a private road.
Okay, so
He
who owns it?
He owns on both sides of it, so he
What's
owns
that?
the road.
He owns both sides.
He owns both sides, okay. No other questions?
Thanks, Courtney. I'm wondering, though, even though he owns both sides,
What happens when? they're
whether
sold
that's
separately?
still permissible, because you're supposed to keep these things contained on the lot where the project is.
Keep what
No,
contained?
runoff.
But he has a drainage system.
Yeah, okay.
I have the drainage for the lot itself there.
All right,
Mary, just have a quick question.
yes.
On your calculations, Tom, you have, the coverage is at 19.84, and you can only have 20%. And I don't see AC units or outdoor showers or generators or anything else. And that's really 0.16% left on that lot that you can, even if they wanted to even add a little bit of turnaround. I just want to make sure that if those are things that you want, that,
If that's added, and I was going to say that AC units and all are not structures, but in this case, it would have to be up on a platform above the flood zone.
well, the platform, if it's attached to the house, becomes a structure.
If, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
If that's the case, it would become part of it. If it's separate from the house, then it's not a structure. But if it gets to that point, then something would have to change to keep it under 20%. That's correct.
Because that's pretty small wiggle room.
Didn't design the house.
Well, I
But
didn't,
yes.
I know it's more of a zoning thing, but it's also a
Yeah.
lot coverage thing. And the reason for that, and we will go back to Texas, that as soon as we start removing all of this this pervious surface and making it impervious, then we do have runoff, sheeting. There's no landscape plan, because we aren't gonna see that. And I think Betsy's concerns of having some sort of plantings to slow down erosion, sediment transport, take up nutrients, all those fun things that you know they're supposed to do, would be helpful on this lot, because it does have a tendency to sheet. So that's all thank you.
Jen, did you have anything?
Not right now, I'm still thinking about this turnaround on the driveway.
Okay. Tom, I wanted to say that I was very impressed with your narrative. That was a very difficult thing to describe, and you managed to describe it. I was hoping to see the staking for, you know, the A and B zones, and that wasn't there, but nice job on the description.
There's so many of them.
Yeah,
that it-
true.
It would have been a jungle out there.
Yeah, some of the, anybody else on the board? have anything?
I'm gonna ask Tom if you'd like a continuance to address
Sounds like there are a few
vegetation issues
things.
and the issue on the wall that Maury asked, and
Some plantings and wall design. And she's going to find out if
The deck is permitted.
The deck is permitted and any other little things.
So, you'd like a date? Is that right?
Oh, Tom, here, let me help you. How about the 25th?
What's that, 2 weeks?
That's 2 weeks. Everything would have to be in by next Wednesday. Do you think that is possible for you, Tom? Is that a little tight? How about the first? First sound good? That gives you 2 weeks.
Okay, that sounds better.
That sounds better? Okay.
okay, at the request of the applicant, I make a motion to continue this to November 1st.
Second.
All right, so anything from the board at this time? Okay, from the public. Arthur, did you want to?
My name is Arthur Gaines, 61 Haynes Avenue, Falmouth. I'm not representing the Citizens Association. I am president of it, but we haven't discussed this on our board of directors because it came up faster than we were ready to respond. But I wanted to point out that there are a number of issues that need to be discussed here. And many of, as Mr. Bunker said, there are a number of complexities with this. First of all, I would like to say that this proposal, in many ways, is an improvement over the existing situation. And the existing house is too close to the property line. The existing, the previous owner was a hostile neighbor and put up no trespassing signs in places that were rights of way. This plan clarifies a lot of that and makes it a lot clearer. My own philosophy is I don't think it's a good idea to stand up at hearings like this and shoot from the hip. So in continuing this hearing, do we retain the right to discuss these issues that in the future and not by continuing and us not bringing these things up now, do we lose the right to bring them up later?
No.
No, it's an open hearing
It's an
still.
open hearing.
Still an open hearing, Arthur, so you will be able to address whatever you would like to address at the continued hearing. There's no limitation on that.
Okay.
Okay, Peter.
I would say one thing, Dr. Gaines, if your association is going to address it, if you could possibly get those comments into us, there you are. A week in advance, just so maybe Tom can look at it, so he can address it, and we can have some dialogue, because maybe some of those can be answered prior to the hearing, so we wouldn't have to continue it again. That's if you're able to do that. Thank you.
Peter Wasdorp, 57 Beckles Road. I'm a board member of the association, speaking for myself, but reflecting some of the concerns that members have and maybe saving trips by other people up here. I also want to applaud the applicant and Mr. Bunker for recognizing the right-of-way. It's a surprise and a happy one, so we're pleased to see that. Since last time, we've all found out that Cape Codder Road has been determined to be a private way, confusing as that sounds. And I just want to say how disappointed some of us are. The town engineers, the Sipwith Association, and individuals for 10 years have asked the town attorney to give us a ruling on whether or not this was truly a town road or not. And it's just inexcusable it took that long. And as a result, the town has lost, I don't know, 40, 50 feet of road, and we've lost some guarantees that we had to pass over to that right-of-way and possibly to continue on to the paper road on Beckles. There's just no excuse for 10 years. And that's becoming all too familiar, unfortunately. A question through you, Madam Chair, to Mr. Bunker. Do you know if there's a backlot line on this property?
Yeah, the show's fun.
Did you check it, Bunker?
We show one near
Shows
the
back
top
lot
of the
line.
bank. We're showing it to not go all the way up to the ocean.
To the ocean. So the stairs and the deck aren't on the property?
Possibly.
Possibly. And we also were curious about whether they were permitted.
I don't know.
And then it's been pointed out there's a wall at the bottom of the stairs,
There's a,
a wall, a revetment. And the question is, was there a chapter 91 for that if it's in the titles?
that's not shown on the plan.
It's, I'd have to reach back into my memory and I think it's all a revetment, isn't it? There's a lot of bittersweet all over it. The stairs go down the rocks.
See, it's someone else broke. So if that needs a chapter 91, then the question is, does that 91 have to be obtained before any other permits are issued? I've heard that's the case, and that hasn't always been followed in terms of procedure. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Peter. Anyone else?
Just to clarify, Peter, the Chapter 91 license is under a different set of regulations under Mass DEP, and I've never been advised in the 12 years that I've been doing this and working with DEP that we can't permit a house before a Chapter 91 is issued on a revetment on the property. Something I will check, but I've never heard that, and I can check with Dave Hill. Okay, that's fine.
Could I request, if they submit more information a little sooner than 1 week before? So that
You can
I would have
ask.
time to look at it and maybe
Get your stuff in.
any response to it 1 week before.
The first.
November
November
1st.
We'd like it, what, 10 days, 2 weeks?
Well,
He needs to get
that's
his,
3 weeks from now, so we have to get our drawings in 2 weeks from now. And so if your review is done,
Could we go 1 week later? It seems a lot.
The week later would be the 15th of November because the week after is town meeting, so unfortunately, we will all be stuck in the Lawrence School.
I mean, like I say, if they get your comments in as soon as you can, so I might have time to look at them before my time runs out.
It's up to you, I mean.
No, I'll stick with the
you
November
wanna
1st.
Stick with the November 1st?
all right.
We've requested that, Tom.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry, what?
I said we have a motion.
Yes, we have, Peter.
Just apologies to Tom. We didn't try to blindside you. We just saw the plans yesterday.
Okay.
No, that's
Thank you.
fine.
All right. Anything else? So, we have a motion and a second to continue the hearing to November 1st. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
No.
Oh, that's right, that was the last one.
Arthur, she sent
That's it.
these to you, right? Yeah, okay.
You have a responsibility.
I know.
You're slacking.
Tough taskmaster.
Meg, audience left.
Yeah, it's dangerous, huh?
Maybe Tom will stay for you.
Okay, so, now our next NOI, James and Erica Milligan, 59 Charles River Road, Hoyt, Massachusetts, for permission to construct and maintain a 4-foot by 15-foot terminal fixed L to the existing fixed pier system, install 4 10-inch diameter pilings, 3 for the fixed L and 1 used for a tie-off pile, install approximately 970 square feet of mitigation plantings and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. For the record, Matt Cross, Cape Islands Engineering, representing the applicant. We're here tonight under a notice of intent application to add a fixed T to the end of an existing licensed pier. The resource areas for this project include the land under the ocean, salt marsh area, small little coastal beach area, BBW, and a coastal bank, all of which have been delineated, shown on the plan, flagged in the field. The work that's proposed includes the T for the pier, and then some mitigation plantings, which would be on the bank. So the 2 areas where work are proposed are resource areas where work are proposed are land under the ocean and on the coastal bank. As I stated, the existing pier has a Chapter 91 license. Just a point of clarification, DEP actually requires you, in order to file for a Chapter 91 license, you have to have local conservation approval. The reason we're proposing mitigation plantings here is because Mr. Milligan is a new owner. Previous owners had a requirement for mitigation. They actually planted them, received a certificate of compliance. Years went by, Mr. Milligan bought it a couple of years ago. When we reviewed everything, we noticed that a lot of the mitigation plantings were had died off. So we talked with Mr. Milligan, and he's proposing to replant that area where those original mitigation plantings were required. So that's the reason for it. We call it voluntary mitigation, but he's really trying to work in good faith and keep the project site in order, so we maintain compliance. The fixed T in the pier is 4 by 15, 60 square feet. We're allowed up to 100 square feet under the regulations. Proposing to install 3 piles to support the fixed T and then 1 tie-off pile. We showed the mooring field on the plan. That's where the boat will be docked. The reason for the tie-off pile is that he has a really long boat. It's about 40 feet long. So rather than building out the full 100 square feet of the allowed fixed T, it makes the most sense to build the smaller portion you need to actually access the boat and then add the 1 tie-off pile to stabilize everything. Shellfish survey has been done for the site. It's included in the narrative package, notice of intent package, I should say. Didn't exceed any applicable thresholds. Project's been submitted to Shellfish Constable and Falmouth Harbor Master for comments, and their comments, they both were fine with the project. Their comments were submitted as part of the application as per the requirements. It's really it in a nutshell. The project meets all applicable performance standards as we have outlined in our narrative, and we respectfully request you issue an order of conditions. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, a couple things. You did your own data sheets? Look at that. What kind of boat does he have?
I don't know what the name of it is, but it's,
Is it a power or a sail?
oh, it's a power boat.
You don't know the name of it? You don't know what type of boat?
I don't know the make of it.
The only reason I ask is you only have 3 feet of water, 3.3 feet of water for a 40-foot boat. I'd like to know what that boat, what the draft is, because if I'm looking at a 10-scale plan, right?
He docks the boat there now.
I understand that, but,
So they'll actually be docking in deeper water.
yeah, but not much deeper. I mean, you're looking at 3.1 from to 3.3, come on, 2.2 feet. That's not that much deeper. What I'm asking is, if there's damage there now, would he consider, since you have how long is that, the existing dock, like 55 feet, would they consider lengthening the existing pier? Is that something you looked at?
We didn't actually look at that. Didn't even come across in the conversation at all. It was to put a T on so it could orientate the boat parallel with the shore, because the boat's got a deep V hull to it, so.
A deep V hull, so how much does it draft?
So, well, what I'm saying is that it's a long boat and he docks it along the side there, so it doesn't bottom out or anything like that. He just wanted to add the T on and orientate it out there. I can ask him if he wants to lengthen it.
I'd just be curious what it is, because to put the piling out there, I was like, that's gotta be a big boat. And if he's got a 40-foot boat out there, one of the reasons he's probably asking for the T to keep it in deeper water is it probably does ground out if it's got a deep V to it. Putting it parallel to that dock where you have if you're going.
We're almost never asked to extend docks further.
No, I understand that.
Simply
I'm just
proposed.
throwing you for a loop, I know. But I'm looking at the length of it.
He didn't express any concerns whatsoever over the depth.
Oh, wait,
I would be
that's-
happy to review that option with him. Absolutely.
Wait, hang on for 1 second. I'm looking at your plan, pier profile, so your plan is a 1 to 10, right? Is that what I'm looking at?
The profile portion, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's only 56 feet long, so we got plenty of room to go.
Okay, so I am right, that I'm looking at them, like scaling this correctly, that the existing, even with the proposed T, is only about 56, right?
Exactly.
I'm throwing that out there. If he's
I don't have authority to authorize that. I haven't discussed it with him. I'd be happy to discuss it with him. I think it would be something that he would be okay with.
It's the size of this pen.
I don't know,
But-
I mean, I'm just throwing that out as a discussion point, so, we can let the board
I like the
talk
idea.
about it, but I like to see that he's trying to, restore that bank, so that's a real positive to the property. So,
Wow. I'm going to encourage people to plant things.
Yeah, hit them when they're in a good mood.
But I
Don't
think
expect it
that,
every
I
week.
think putting that's a big boat for that dock.
I'll request a continuance and after we take everybody's questions, and I'll discuss it with him.
I mean, you have a portion of the survey already done, you just have to extend that survey out, so, okay.
Okay, thanks. Betsy and Maury, would one of you like to
Ask the questions.
ask the questions you've been discussing here?
Well, the boat's 45 feet long, am I correct?
40.
I
40?
think it's over 40. I don't know if
It's over 40. Well, you're only
45.
showing a 25-foot mooring field. Is this 1 to 10?
It says 1.
Is it 1 to 10?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you really need to put the mooring field way out where it's only 2.5 feet of water,
What?
right?
Oh, extend it that way?
Yeah,
That would
because
be
it really,
where
the mooring field isn't just 15 feet or 25 feet, it's 40 feet.
Well, that would be the portion of the deeper part of the boat. that would be the nose of the boat pointed that way. So
Bow.
that would be shallower portion of the boat. I'd be happy to enlarge the mooring field illustration.
Yeah, I mean, why not? If you're talking about a 40-foot boat.
Sure.
And find out, what it does draw, because he doesn't want to do damage to his boat, and we don't want him to do damage to the bottom.
That's totally understood, but he docks it there now, so that's,
We call it hydro dredging, power dredging.
Power dredging.
do you know how terrible that is for your motor?
Oh,
So
I
if
watch it happen every day.
Triple outboards, I don't think he's putting $150,000 worth of motors down into the mud.
Stand at a town landing any weekend, and it will boggle your mind what people will do with very expensive pieces of equipment.
That is actually very true.
Yes.
Especially 5 o'clock, 5:30,
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon, coming back from.
Alcohol induced.
Yeah,
Yes.
coming back from the vineyard, boat ramps are hilarious.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
Betsy?
I have nothing. I'm
Okay.
interested to see what the next proposal will be.
Courtney?
No questions.
Mark?
No questions.
Peter?
Yes, I have a question. The proposed fixed T shown on the drawing is 15, how many feet is it?
4 by 15?
Yeah, and you have a 11-foot space with another piling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 35 feet from the two furthest pilings to tie on to the boat. If you have the T oriented with the length of the dock, maybe you would have to have more than 15 feet of additional dock to be sure that you are clearing all the ground or the bottom of the water. I see that as a potential problem for having the T straightened and having the dock lengthwise, because the boat, some part of the boat will have to be further in to the land, and that is less clearance to the boat.
Peter, when I said length in the I said, if you're talking about what I
Yeah,
said about
yeah.
lengthening, I meant pushing that T out too. So
Oh.
lengthening
So the
the
lengthening
here
goes out,
and then
and then
having
it'll
the
still
T
be
on
the
the end.
gangway.
Still having the T, but taking that whole
Okay.
structure and lengthening the pier part, taking the T, moving the T further out, moving that dome, that tie-off piling further out.
Okay.
And just lengthening the pier.
Okay,
Yeah, no,
You
I was
explained it.
around the same thing, because I'm looking at that going,
Yeah.
if that's a big boat, yeah. Just
Okay.
looking at lengthening it.
and just a minor question. What's your definition of manicured area?
Something that's being touched on a regular basis?
Mode.
Manicured.
It's mostly moss, but okay.
Manicured.
Okay, I'm through.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just wondering how you put a 40-foot boat there, but that's okay. It's certainly not gonna be one of my problems, I'll tell you that.
Okay, Jamie?
I have nothing to add.
Betsy?
I know you're not going to believe this comment, but you
I
can
love when they start that way.
you can have 100 square feet
Yeah.
for your T.
I know, yeah.
So why not make it, what did we say? 4 by 25, and that'll give it even more
It
support.
just doesn't need it. There's only a portion of the boat that gets access. It just doesn't,
No, I get that, yeah.
you're building a bunch of T for,
But I've
No
used
reason.
spring lines on boats. and
Oh, I
It's
know.
nice to have a little bit more,
Wait a minute,
Doc.
I didn't sign up for this. Give them more footage, let them cooperate.
this is
I'm in the
the
wrong
best
meeting.
dock project I've ever had.
Yeah,
We're just trying to
It's
help
the yacht
you.
club meeting.
have enough to think about?
Yeah, I'd like to request a continuance, please.
How about the first?
That's, I
You and Tom can come together and
take-
buddy up again.
I could take the 2-week one, I mean, this will be quick.
No, that is the first. Oh, wait, no.
25th.
The 25th, I'm sorry. I was
You want
losing
the
a week.
25th?
You want the 25th?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry about that.
You don't want to come to Tom's? You can both come anyway.
I might be there anyway.
Okay, at the request of the applicant, I'll make a motion to continue this to the 25th.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved.
Thank you.
Thank
Number
you, Matt.
25th.
Sorry, we kind
It was
of,
very entertaining.
We like to surprise people once in a while. All right, continued request for a hearing under a notice of intent, Olga Bariski, 2 Wigwam Road. This has been continued to November 15th. And then we have James Clements, 11 Sandy Lane, East Falmouth, Massachusetts. Please,
I have a quorum
I
for
never get
this.
to be the only one talking in this room.
Jamie, Courtney, Maury, Peter, Kevin, and Mark. Who's Jamie? Oh, yeah, Jamie, Courtney, Maury, Peter. So
Kevin.
not,
Kevin was on it.
no, Betsy or Mary.
All right.
Okay, thank you once again. For the record, Tom Bunker. Here, 2, 3, some weeks ago, sent packing with some suggestions for what to change. I think I've covered them. Mainly had to do with the area over the leaching field of the septic system, where taken all of the shrub and tree planting off of that and moved it. This planting was here already, it was only one tree, moved another 210 feet from around there, and moved that planting down to here. And so we have six proposed trees down near the pond. I changed the wall. Actually, the contractor decided to do a double cast-in-place concrete walls rather than the taller block wall. So these walls are basically, each wall is basically 3.5 feet high. This bottom wall here is 3.5 feet high, right at the house, and then the ground goes up to where that is the wall that's flush with the ground, and then this wall is 3.5 feet above that, a staggered wall. Planting around there. I still left some trees, but I moved them further away. Actually, I moved the retaining wall further away from the septic system, and I moved these 2 trees further away. And I also left a tree back in this location here. The tank is H20, but I don't expect people to be parking over it, because I also have a note that there'll be 1.5 foot of loam spread over the tank, because I know that he'll want to have shrubs and all for privacy, so we've added more loam, 1.5 foot, so that the shrubs can live over the tank. So basically left this open here, and now I've added a paved apron across the opening here. One of the neighbors said that the water comes down the hill, so I put in a paved apron to at least protect that portion of the road pavement down there. I should say that in the intervening couple of weeks, Board of Health did meet, and they approved this septic upgrade. So that's done. I have a note on there to remove the float from the resource area for storage. I'll talk with the owner about that. This area over will just be planted with, a sandy loam and drought-tolerant grass seed mix over the septic system there. And otherwise, shrubs around it and however much you can fit in to buffer the house.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
I think that's it. Oh, I have mitigation calculations on there to show that the
Yay.
house is the same size as the existing house, and there's no increase and no mitigation planting required. But this planting down here is replacement planting, not mitigation planting. So I'll take any further questions.
Thank you, Tom. Jen?
I think you addressed all of our questions except, you removed float from resource area for storage?
It was said that's a float. Well, he's got it pulled up, so you either got to put it back out into the pond or remove it for storage.
So now it's a float, not a dock.
Oh, that's what
Yeah, okay.
I called it a dock because it kind of looked like a dock, but
Okay.
the neighbors said it was a float, so.
Okay, and the only thing is we still doing a deed restriction, still 2-bedroom, you still have the deed restriction, and you still submit the deed restriction to the Concom? Okay. Because I had removed dock, deal with the trees near the pond, change the tank to H20 load, locate and pump and fill the cesspool. We have the grade changes, and you have more of a defined parking area in case the parking becomes a problem on the road.
Yes.
Okay, but still buffering the house with the shrubs, but you're leaving that area above the FAS. Okay. And they can park over that.
Yes, it's an
Okay.
H20.
Will is the, okay.
Anything else, Jen?
No, that's it, I'm fine. Thank you.
Let's see. Courtney, you're on the quorum, yes?
No questions.
Maureen?
Is there a vent for that leach field? Because it's in the driveway now?
Actually, no, you're right.
Vent,
It's- We'll add a vent to the leach field.
Okay.
Good point.
And you are gonna remove the oaks that are in the road layout, right? Because it makes it easier for the people to go down the road. The 6-inch, or 16-inch and the 20-inch? Remember there
One
was-
of them I removed because it was in the grading. The other I didn't because it's right downhill from the paved apron we show. I mean,
I don't know, you
if they
show
if they
two
wanted
grade,
that,
you'd show two grade changes. You show it, one going to the wall at the 16-inch oak,
yeah,
and the 20's not even on the plan, on the
right.
second
I mean,
plan.
on this plan,
Okay,
they're shown on the existing conditions plan and they
Right.
come off on this. So there are
Okay.
two in there. Certainly, yes, well, I mean, people aren't gonna drive there because it's up in the, I suppose if they had to get by, in the case of an ambulance or something, then somebody might, if the neighbors wanted it widened a little bit,
okay.
we could take that tree out.
I don't want you to really take the tree out, but it sounded to me like the neighbors are probably being owners of the private way, and these people parking on the road, it's not a conservation issue, that's their, they have to deal with it. That's all, thank you.
All right, Jamie? Kevin?
I think there were some neighbors who commented on that issue
Yep,
about the parking.
yeah, they
Wanted
did.
it, the oak gone.
Peter?
No questions.
Mark?
Looks good to me.
All right.
I'll move to close the hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, so moved.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. I have two very, very quick items of other business. First, I wanted to remind everyone that we have a meeting with the selectmen and several other boards, planning, zoning,
Planning,
and
zoning.
the Coastal Resilience Advisory Committee this Saturday morning, 8:30, I believe, at the Falmouth Academy.
Oh, it's a Falmouth
Falmouth
Academy.
Academy.
Falmouth
Good
Academy,
thing somebody
yes.
said that.
It was supposed to be
It
at the.
says it right here.
Yeah, but.
I would have been here.
Great.
I would have probably been at the library.
That's good. I assume they did that because they wanted more space, so, yeah, good.
And I would have said, oh, must be somewhere else, and I don't know where it is.
Nobody came.
I wouldn't
And
have
the other item is, just to let everybody know, Betsy will be making a presentation to the Board of Selectmen at their meeting Monday night on the Coonamessett River Restoration Project, which is breaking ground. And
It's breaking ground on Monday, but officially breaking ground on the Thursday.
yes. So, either,
And the
you know,
presentation is how long?
I don't know how long the
short?
presentation
Short.
is,
Short is it?
but it is on TV,
I was
so.
asked to make it short, and I promised it would be short.
We can,
I don't think
Jamie
Sam
can,
believe in you.
maybe Sam would like to borrow your egg timer, I don't know.
Sam, if I see an egg timer in front of you, I'm gonna be very suspicious.
Close this meeting?
You
Did
can
we
blame me
close
for
this
that.
meeting?
Yes, I will.
Okay, yes, Kevin.
There's a rumor that the ethics lecture is off for this week?
Yes, well, they had two sessions, and the Tuesday one was canceled. I don't know about the Thursday one, because I was just asking about the other one. So I think it's likely, though, that it was it's postponed, I think.
Okay.
But you might want to confirm that with town
Is Pat
council's
supposed to do
office.
some of it?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Kevin, I didn't get a notification from town council on that.
Yeah, I didn't either, and I had sent in an email. Oh, okay.
I called them
Oh, yes.
yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and they said it was canceled both days.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
That's clear.
Well, that's the information we need.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Seems to be on that for a little while.
I
Make
hope,
a motion
yeah,
to
I hope
adjourn.
the town can survive for another period of time without myself getting a lot of ethics training.
Yeah, we have
You'll be fine.
grave concerns about you. All right.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, unanimous, so moved.